Good morning, everybody. I'm just on my way into Bikram Yoga, Agoura Hills, to Rachel House of Pain to take a last practice before I return home to Massachusetts next week. My last class here teaching was yesterday, and I just wanted to quickly share something that happened during class, something that I learned from, and I wanted to share that with you. So I was teaching, and there was a gentleman in class who was really struggling. And, this happens all the time, right? We all struggle in there. And he was looking up at me at one point. I think it was in Cobra, and he was on his hands and knees, and he was struggling to get his breath. I think he had held his breath in the posture the first set, and then just really could not regain his composure. And I watched him struggle through the whole standing series with his breathing. The postures are difficult in Bikram yoga, and the heat, it's warm and it's very humid in there, and he was really struggling. You could tell he had a sincere effort to want to do the postures, but he wasn't breathing, and he was struggling. So he took a couple of breaks when it got, totally horrible for him, but really just wrestling with himself the whole time. So in Cobra, he finally, it seemed like he looked up at me with these appealing, eyes that like, please help me. And I looked down at him from the podium, and we connected for a moment there. It's sort of like, dude, I can't do anything for you, man. Like, you have to breathe. So I just said to him, take a break and breathe. Just stay with your breathing. And so I said, lay down in savasana, but he couldn't control himself enough to do that. So he just sat back on his knees and his heels and squirmed around and grabbed his water, and his body just couldn't settle. And he was really, really struggling. And I, of course, felt empathy and compassion, because I've been there myself, and lots of people are there in this practice, and this is the beauty of the practice, because you're struggling, you're suffering, you're wrestling with yourself and your own ability to calm yourself and to control yourself. And so I think, I don't know, after that posture in savasana, I went over and I said to him, less is more. I said, your ego wants to do more, but your body's telling you no, so just back off. And he nodded and smiled, and I went back to the podium, and that was that. And then after class, he came out, and and he apologized like so many people do. It's like, don't apologize to the teacher in Bikram yoga. You're having your own practice. I'm saying the words, I'm giving you the discipline and the structure to enter into, to have this wrestling match with yourself. And that's exactly why you should keep coming back, because in that process of wrestling and suffering, you're hopefully, if you're not learning about it at the moment, maybe after class you can reflect back and think, okay, what was going on there? How did I handle that? What was happening in my body? What was happening in my mind? You have the opportunity to do that the whole practice, but sometimes when you can't breathe and you're that crazy, it's hard. But he said to me after, I was struggling, and I was trying so hard, and I wanted to do the postures, and I said, it isn't about doing the postures to their full expression. It's about breathing and doing just what you can, the first step. And then if you can get to the second step while still breathing and holding, then you take the next step. And you have to kind of be more methodical about it in that respect, and tame that fucking ego, man, that just wants what it wants. And it's there's a difference between using your will to engage and to push your limits, absolutely, but don't have any expectations about where those limits are, or set yourself up to like, oh, I have to reach this X limit, I have to get all the way into the posture, and I have to do every single one, and nothing less will serve me. It's sort of like, no, like on any given day, your day is different. You have to have that humility and openness to see what unfolds for you that day. And yes, engage your strength. Yes, Do the best you can and try really hard. But when you hit a limit and you hit a wall, acknowledge it, and have the courage and the humility to back off and hold and breathe and stay with your breath. Stay true to yourself. Stay with yourself, with your breath, and take care of yourself. So that's not being wimpy. That's sort of like taking a step backwards to go 2 steps forward. And that's not easy for people to do, not easy for me to do, not easy for anybody to do. So keep coming and doing your yoga, and don't apologize to your yoga teachers. It's all good, man. You got in the room, you're taking care of yourself. That's the very first step. So keep coming back. And I hope to see you in the hot room soon. I'm going to go in and have my own practice, and who knows what I'll learn on the Landscapes for Learning at Bikram Yoga Agoura Hills this morning. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.